Yo, what's going on, guys? Houston Sports Talk back here for a video today. And we're going to be talking about the Houston Rockets and some offseason rumors. I know the NBA is not got to the full NBA offseason yet. I think it's 22 of the 30 teams are in their offseason, and it's not like they can do much. Pretty soon it'll probably be more than that because 4 teams will be eliminated in the semifinals, but you don't really see a lot of moves being done until the finals are over, and it takes probably about a week or two for the real off-season frenzy to happen. But while the playoffs do finish, we do get to see all these big fancy rumors, and the Rockets haven't had a lot, but here's one of them that I've seen that I'd like to take as an interesting topic is the Houston Rockets potentially signing Colin Sexton once free agency starts. Obviously, you can't sign any players right now. I think there is a chance that you can make a trade right now. I'm not sure. I haven't looked, but I do remember last year during the semifinals, the Celtics and Thunder made a trade. They traded Kemba Walker to the Thunder for Al Horford and not Robert Williams, the dude, Moses Brown. So they got those two guys for Kemba Walker, and the playoffs were still going on. The Celtics still got eliminated in the first round, and obviously the Thunder didn't even make the playoffs. So that was last year. But I don't know if that was just something different. Why the Celtics and Thunder were able to make a trade last year during the semifinals, but I do find this interesting at the Rockets signing Colin Sexton. I would love him on the Rockets. It just doesn't make that much sense to me because of we already have KPJ and Jalen Green. Now neither of them are really listed as point guards, but KPJ has played that point guard role, and I think he is actually done a decent job at it. He's very hated on. I mean, I get he's not the best point guard in mind, but he's still hated on a lot. And I've seen if the Rockets do sign Colin Sexton, I think there's probably a chance one of them plays 6-man, probably would be KPJ, which I hate the idea of having him go play 6-man. Because KPJ is a really talented player. But at the same time, it might be a smart thing because Kevin Porter Jr. would still get a lot of time out there, and he'd still play. I think maybe he would be playing better as a 6-man than the starting point guard. I think he can maybe average 15 to 20 points per game off the bench because the Rockets, their bench is kind of weak. I know they have Eric Gordon, they have Garrison Matthews. Eric Gordon, he's most likely going to be gone this offseason, and I hate to say it, and I will probably be depressed and sit in bed for 3 days if this happens. I've been seeing some stuff about maybe Garrison Matthews being traded. I'd hate it because he's one of my favorite players on the Rockets. But even if Garrison Matthews stays and Eric Gordon gets traded, the Rockets' bench is still weak. You might say they have Şengün, but here's the thing. Şengün might be a starter this year because Wood might get traded as well. It's just so many questions for the Rockets this offseason, like Jayshawn Tate. What happens to him? Because he is a player. He has a team option. Of course, the Rockets aren't going to just decline that and let him walk freely. I feel like the Rockets might accept it and trade him because I don't know. I just don't see I don't as much as I love Tate, I don't see there being any role for him next year because KJ Martin, I feel like he's going to take a bounce next year. And then the Rockets are going to – I feel like the Rockets are going to draft Chet Holmgren or a 4, which might be Jabari Smith if they get the first overall pick. And I really don't feel like they want to bench Şengün. I don't feel like that's something they want to do, but I could see them doing it. But so I can see them signing Colin Sexton because he's a better point guard. Last year he averaged 16 points per game. He was doing really well. He got hurt. He's always been good. So I would really love this addition. He would work well right next to Jalen Green. So it would be Sexton and Green being the backcourt. The front court. Yeah, that's right. Front court. Or yeah, no, the back court. I had it right the first time. And then the three, if we're assuming Tate is gone, we're going to assume the Rockets get the first overall pick here. Then the Rockets would draft Jabari Smith. And then the 4 would be okay, we're not going to even try to build up the roster right now because there's a lot of holes that would need to make because of trading Wood, Wall, and Gordon. But I would love to see Sexton signing here, which I don't know if will happen because I know there's other teams that are interested, like Dallas and other teams. But I would love to see it happen because fans. I've seen fans saying trade KPJ. I don't want to trade him. I'm not at the point where we need to trade KPJ. I'm at the point where he's either the starting point guard or he's the sixth man, and I'm still probably leaning to the point guard because him and Jalen Green work well. But him and Jalen Green could work well, and KPJ can come off the bench, and him and Jalen Green can still get a bunch of time. We'll see what happens with Colin Sexton. I don't know. We'll see. That's basically it for the video. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Let me know what you think about the Rockets potentially signing Colin Sexton. I'd be open to it, but I mean, another thing is, will it have to be a sign and trade? That's another thing I have a question about, is would it have to be a sign and trade? I don't think so. I think they could just sign him normally. But there's a lot of questions for this offseason because I don't think anybody on this roster is safe besides Jalen Green, to be honest. Not really. I mean, I think there's even rumors about I think there's even a possible chance that Şengün could be gone. And I know people would say, why would they get rid of Şengün when he's so talented? I just don't. If the Rockets feel like they want to draft a 5 in this year's draft, then they might get rid of Şengün because they probably don't want to put him off the bench. There's only 2 players I feel like who are really secure to be on the roster next year, and that's Kenyon Martin Jr. and Jalen Green. I do think KPJ will be on the roster next year as well. Those 3, I'm not saying that they're going to be the only 3 that are on the roster this year, but those are the only 3 guys that are untouchable for the Rockets. Eric Gordon, Christian Wood, Jayshawn Tate, John Wall, Alperen Şengün. I think those 5, they're all in the market. Even Garrison Matthews adding with them. So this is a free market for the Rockets besides KPJ, Jalen Green, and Kenyon Martin Jr. But yeah, that's basically it. Oh, and Josh Christopher. So those 4 guys, Josh Christopher, Jalen Green, Kenyon Martin Jr., and what was the 4th name? KPJ, Jalen Green, Kenyon Martin Jr., Josh Christopher. Besides those 4 guys on this roster, everybody is up for grabs. I remember a couple years ago, the year that CP3 was traded to OKC, Daryl Morey was on some show. Because he was the GM at the time, and he was kind of lying, but he wasn't that wrong. He said the only players on our roster that are untouchable are Harden, Capella, and CP3. He ended up trading CP3 only because he was offered Westbrook. And he kept Harden, he kept Capella that year. So this is where I kind of see it as too. I see 4 guys that are basically gonna, for sure, 100% be on the roster next year. And then I see all these other maybe like 8 guys who I'm not saying are all going to be traded, but definitely have a shot to be traded. But yeah, that's basically it for the video. Let me know if you think the Rockets should sign Colin Sexton. I'd be down for it. But there's a lot of questions to be answered for the Rockets offseason this year with the draft, free agency, and trades. It's going to be wild. And I know last year I was anticipating a lot to happen, but I just think last year wasn't the right year for a lot to be going on with trades. And I would make all these YouTube videos last offseason about Eric Gordon trades, John Wall trades, even Christian Wood trades. And those never happened because I didn't feel like now that I look back, I don't think the Rockets were ready to make those kind of moves. And now I feel like they are ready to make those big trades after this year's draft. I don't think it'll happen until the draft's over. Maybe it'll happen before. What's first? The draft is first, then free agency, right? Yeah, I think so. The draft, then free agency. The NFL is different. It's the other way around. But I think after the draft, that's when the Rockets will make trades. Maybe they'll make a draft day trade. I don't know. It's going to be a lot to figure out. And we'll figure some of that out next Tuesday when the Rockets have when the NBA draft lottery happens. We'll see what the Rockets have. Hopefully they're in the top 3. But yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out. Go Rockets.